Greetings and salutations, fine people. I'm Patty Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome. So join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Good Soul. We are on episode 34 already. This is a risky, very vulnerable and exciting episode. Let me start by introducing my husband, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Manny Alvarez. Say hello. Hello. And of course, Mr. Chris McClure.
Hello.
So this episode is titled Couples Counseling, and everybody gets bug eyes when I say it. And the person who gets the biggest set of bug eyes is this guy right here, right? So Manny and I have never been in counseling, nor has Manny ever done any real formal, consistent counseling like most men of his stature and lifestyle. What? What did you always used to say? No offense. What did counselors do?
What did they do?
They make problems.
Make problems. We dig stuff up.
I don't want to say that. We got a guest here. Come on.
Oh, just laugh about it. You have to be honest about it. Okay. So, couples counseling is the title of our episode, and I think Chris was a little nervous.
Mm-hmm. He's nervous.
I'm extremely excited. He is super nervous, but thankfully we had a meeting with Chris yesterday and we kind of strategized. And I have to say that, first of all, Manny and I have no major relationship trauma, as far as we both know, I know, no cheating, any, abuse, nothing like that. It's very fun, lighthearted. We have very typical kind of things that we argue over and hot buttons. So I feel very safe in this space. But I'm going to turn this over to Chris, where he's going to explain to you a little bit more about what this episode will hold. And
it's good that you said safe, because that's the segue I needed. I was more nervous than Manny.
I don't know about that.
So, and here's why. So everyone understands right from the beginning, this is not real counseling. We're going to do some role playing. Patty and Manny are not my clients. We do not have the confidentiality. I've got a dual relationship with Patty, which means I have a second relationship outside of this little role play, which is primarily around the yoga studio and my in and out and participating in that life. So all of those things make it really important to call out. Like, the very reason that we got together yesterday was to talk about if we were to do legitimate therapy on camera, how risky and unsafe that could actually be, because I can't predict where we're going to go. I've taken an ethical duty to do no harm, to do good, to preserve your autonomy, but to be honest and to try to meet your goals. And so
that's a whole different story.
It is a different story.
That's a closed door.
So we're going to keep it at a high level today, and we're going to be rather playful, and we'll do some things that you guys would see if you were to enter into a real counseling session. We did a little bit of it yesterday, and I kind of want to check in on that. But very important disclaimer, this is not legitimate couples therapy. And I know you're kind of like, ooh, that loses the authenticity of this.
No, not really. I mean, out of respect to our children, our siblings, our intimate friends and loved ones, talking about childhood trauma is also speaking for my sisters, or talking about sex is really awkward when we know our kids are going to be watching this. So we are going to keep this lighthearted.
Easy.
As I said to Chris and Manny yesterday and today, our goal for me, our goal is, of course, to inspire you all, right, to explore your relationships and find strategies and tools to use to make your relationship stronger, because I do believe that love and romance is not only my favorite topic, but it's the fruit of life, right? It's really the fuel that fires me. Yep. So we want to inspire you guys so you're better drivers and parents and workers, and we make the world a better place through making our relationships better. 2, to showcase what Chris can do for you, because I know a lot of people who go to him and sing his praises, so I'd like to showcase that. And of course, I don't want to say most importantly, but kind of,
I
want to learn more about my honey and things we can do to make the rest of our life, the best of our life.
It's
What do you
already the
say?
best of my life.
What do you say? You
There
ready?
we go.
I'm ready, I'm
Here we
ready.
go. Give me a high
my back,
five.
my back, my back.
Oh, God.
So the very first thing I would do if we were to jump into a therapy session is I would say, what are your goals for therapy, right? And I will let you answer that question, but before that, I'm going to be looking at surveys that were submitted. I'm going to be looking at safety concerns. I'm going to have an eye for medication, for patterns, for trauma, for abuse, and then addiction. All of those are indicators for can both individuals in the couple be fully present to this type of dynamic, which is going to be, it can be a lot of cultivating. It can be very gut wrenching to get in here because a lot of the dynamics that are about, you're going to talk about the dishwasher or the air conditioning in the car, right? And who's got control.
The hat on the dresser.
Those often can be dug up. Linkages to those things in your nervous system can be dug up from your past experiences. So it's important that the couple has the ability to be completely present and fully committed to each other in this process. So if there's an addiction or if there's abuse or anything going on, then what we would do is we would split you guys out and refer you to an individual therapist, and then we would check in on a periodic.
Okay.
The other thing I'm going to assess for is we would have a couple session right away, talk about goals, and we will get there. Then we'd split, and I'd meet with Patty individually and then meet with Manny individually. And that's where the rubber meets the road with any big secrets. And if there are impacting secrets that need to be revealed, we will talk about whether or not that's going to be appropriate and whether or not each of you are fully invested in this relationship, or as we talked about yesterday, maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Okay. If one of you is discerning whether or not this thing's going to work out, then we have very different conversations. We preserve safety. We turn the volume up on your authenticity, and we try to really create a safe space for you to explore whether this thing's going to work out. And that's not what couples therapy would traditionally be. That would be called discernment therapy.
Okay.
Oh,
So types of therapy, right?
Deep.
Yeah. So
Okay. So in other words, I just want to kind of translate this into layman's terms. If you were having an affair with Lolita, or I was worried about getting to my bottle of wine and my Marlboro Lights, I would not be present.
Right.
He would be worried about his phone dinging and and I would be worried about.
But I'm not with Lolita.
So that's one thing that I really appreciate that you and the secrets thing we didn't talk about yesterday.
We didn't.
I'm excited to get into that because how much do we need, especially in a second marriage where we lived 1,000 lives?
yeah,
That we got together. He was 47. I was 41. Right. So how much do I need to know about his past? How much does he need to know about my past in order for us to have a truly authentic relationship?
Yeah, and I'm glad you keyed in on that. I'm trying to keep my eye on time here.
Yep.
It's super important to discern for us how much do we want to dig into the past. When I'm talking about secrets as a therapeutic indicator of success, it's present, active secrets, right?
Okay.
So I don't want to give the wrong impression that we're going to go reveal everything in order to be present in therapy. If it's in your past and it's done and it's not productive to the relationship, we'll talk about that in the one-on-one session. We'll be like, yeah, no big deal. Like let's move on. Are you present today?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. Yeah,
It's
thank
hard
you.
for people, I think, if we go through so many different dynasties and we're so many different people in our lives. And who I was when I was 21 is very different from who I am now.
Yes.
And to be held accountable for that, in my relationship, that's kind of frightening. So, all right, good. So what are we in for next segment? What are we going to get into?
I think we're going to talk about your goals, and then I want to do a quick check-in on your present state of mind, your present state of body, and then we're going to see where that rabbit hole leads.
Cool. All right, everybody. Aren't you excited?
Hey.
I know I am. I know he is. Don't go away. We'll see you for segment 2, couples counseling on the Good Soul. This segment of The Good Soul is brought to you by Aaron Fisnick, certified luxury home specialist with Ivester Jackson, Christie's International Real Estate. Erin serves all levels of the greater Lake Norman region real estate market, and whether buying or selling, she is very much the lady who will deliver like no other. Many of us at Good Soul are also really happy clients. Erin can be reached at 704-728-5657 or reach out to me and I'll get you guys connected. Thank you, Erin Fisnick, and thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the Good Soul. Welcome back, everybody, to the Good Soul. We are at episode 34. Yes, so we're talking, I know it's not formal couples counseling. We're role playing, but I named it couples counseling because I thought it was a cool title. My husband's nervous.
And there's no Lolita.
He's nervous, and there's no Lolita. He's nervous because, and I agree with him, he wants to make sure that we get proper representation, that we have had such a beautiful love story. And we're making ourselves very vulnerable. So
very
people
vulnerable.
Are watching
Exactly.
only this.
And it's interesting that you wanted to jump in and make it okay for him right now.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to address that.
Yeah, he's my life.
She knows
he's
I got her back.
Yeah, So, but listen, as we spoke about yesterday, it would be weird if we didn't irritate each other and sometimes want to murder each other. I mean, that is normal.
You get up, and that's why I walk away.
Yep.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So what I would do if I were able to just kind of take control of this thing is I would say, what are your goals? So we've done the first few sessions. We've talked about generic goals. We've done all the risk and safety stuff. We've validated you're here for the right reasons. We're going to be honest and blah, blah, blah. So Manny, let's start with you.
Okay.
I know you were brought here, right? But you're still here on your own willpower. So what do you
100%.
think?
Not feeling well either. My back is, I went over my ailments. Now I'm here because got her back anywhere she goes.
So what would be your goal for this little role play just today?
Just to please her. I just like making her happy. I mean, that's my goal.
To please
whatever
Patty.
it is, to make her smile.
I'm here for you, babe.
This is kind of scary for me because, like I said, everything's going great. I don't want to tilt the shit.
So, Patty, what do you hear him say right now?
I just hear a individual who is loving and kind and caring, and also hasn't done a lot of turning inward in his life. So
this is you're getting into analysis and meaning making.
Well,
what did you hear him say? He
loves me.
Okay, all right. Now, Manny, what are you feeling in your body right now as we kind of enter this second session, right? We've got, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 minutes of this dialogue coming. You've said, I want to be here because of her, and she hears that. What are you feeling in your body right now? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can tell you. Remember we talked about the three senses or whatever you call it.
Your brain cells in your heart.
Yeah, so when we talked yesterday, I talked about getting in touch with their bodies. And one of the most recent things that I heard from, I think it was a neurobiologist, there are brain cells in our gut and brain cells in our heart, so intelligent cells. Nobody asked me about that in the hall. I can't go any deeper, but I trust the source. And when you think about pay attention to your heart, what does your heart say?
Right now, my heart's in my belly.
Right.
It's right in my gut. Right. I'm telling you, it's the nerves and everything goes to the belly. So that kind of, I don't know.
So one of the
things
makes
you act weird, different kind of almost.
Right. And one of the things that we do in therapy is help.
Discomfort, yeah, exactly.
And I said one of the things that I do in therapy, there's all kinds of different therapists with different dynamics and approaches. Somatic therapy is where we really pay attention to our body. I talk about the brain as an organ, your breath work, any tension, any temperature variances. So just pausing and getting in touch with that is often a lot of awareness that'll help you guys when you start to argue about the dishwasher at home. Because next time you guys start to argue, Manny's going to be like, wait a minute, I feel that, what we talked about with Chris.
I kind of do that living now.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about it?
No, that's what I said. I don't know what my MS, my gut. I get that belt. It's MS hug. It's called. It's like a belt, and everything gets number as it goes down. So I can't feel my feet and blah 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 blah. But like I said, my belly, my stomach, and I go. We start arguing. It starts getting that feeling. I'm like, oh no. babe, please, my belly. And as I said, my belly.
And what is your standard?
Not my stomach.
What's your standard reaction when you sense that coming in?
I
when
take
you're
a deep
home?
breath and I try to stay calm. That's
Okay.
my first reaction. It's
Okay.
Just
Good.
relax. I know, I don't know what's happening. Something's
Not when you
happening.
talk to me.
So what the body typically does when it gets amped up is it'll limit oxygen, and the other thing that limits oxygen is our posture. And walking around in America, everyone doesn't want to have their belly hanging out. And the most we do this in yoga, right? The most room we can provide our lungs is down and extended through the belly. And so when the brain and the blood doesn't get the oxygen that it needs, it can perpetuate otherwise just benign nervousness. So we can kind of start spinning out of control. Being aware of that will help you kind of stay regulated.
That's what I'm trying to do and regulate.
Yes, regulate, right. So,
But do you think that this is probably a very big loaded question. Do you think that response it's obviously nothing to do with our marriage and everything to do to his trauma response and his coping mechanisms, right? So I can do my best to try to prevent him from feeling that way. But the reality is, as I say to him, I'm going to irritate you every day. So how are we going to figure out how to troubleshoot this issue? Because we are, regardless of whether he has MS or anything, we're going to argue. We're going to disagree.
Yeah.
And we're going to irritate each other. So how can we troubleshoot this situation? Right?
So the awareness and the communication is really the answer. And we could have an hour-long, 2 hours conversation around that. What's even more interesting is I notice you continually try to grapple to be able to make sure that this situation is not only okay for him, but that you guys get the most out of this process. And you're doing a little bit of that yesterday too. Like I said, one of my ethical commitments is to be honest. And the most awkward things that present themselves in the room, I get to talk about. Like you would just let it fly by in normal conversation. So I'm going to ask you, and we'll get to your goals in a second.
Okay.
But what's going on with you as you sense that your husband is nervous and you watch the time click by and you want to make the most out of this time? Tell us about that.
Well, I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that trigger response when it comes to me. I want to empower him and inspire him and lift him up.
Okay.
So,
Can I pause you?
Sure.
Manny, what'd you hear her say there?
She's trying to do what she feels is right and try to help me the way she can.
Okay. How do
She
you?
don't want to trigger it, but she does it.
How does that feel when you hear her talking in the here and now about what she's intending to do? How do you feel?
I just kind of, I try to, I don't know. I don't want to say bend. I try to mold. I would say mold.
That's how you react. But how does? So you said, I'm going to try to make it okay for him, and then he reflected that back, right? As you hear her say, I'm really trying to just make it okay for him. How does that make you feel hearing those words?
That I need to improve on things still. So
tell me about that.
But I don't know, like the things I need to improve on are sometimes elevated by something as simple as, I don't know.
Do you believe me when I say that?
Yes,
I
100%.
want to make you a better man.
I believe it, but I think sometimes you push it a little much.
What does it mean to you? If
No.
she has to step in and make things okay for you, Manny, what does that mean to you? About you?
What does it mean about me? I don't, I'm not fully grasping what you're asking me. So you're asking me, what does it feel about me when she trying to help?
Yeah,
the
because
situation?
what happened was I saw her say, I am trying to make it better for him effectively. I know we're grossly over summarizing that.
Yeah, because all this time between my children, Patty, the dogs, that's all therapeutic for me, especially with the MS. So her she's always trying to help. She tries to help. I know she's trying to help, but sometimes it's the help I don't want to hear at the time.
I don't need the help all the time, or as much maybe, because what I heard you. I said, how do you feel about that? And I heard you say, I feel like I need to be better.
Yeah, well, if I have to be, I just like her when she's happy. Most of the time that's what it is. Like we talked about yesterday, I like when the house is clean when she comes home. And if I could get up and do something, I want to do it.
So in this moment, if you're sensing and hearing your wife trying to make it better for you, then that means that you're not holding up something on your end of the bargain.
Right.
If
That's
she's
just making me feel like, yeah.
There.
Hey, you said it.
That's a big,
But that's right.
big deal. Now, what do you hear us talking about as we peel that apart? What's going on with you? So what are you hearing and what's going on?
Well, first, I will say, I think it's a big responsibility for any wife or husband or anybody in a relationship to bear when they say, when you do this, it kills me. So in other words, if you disappoint me, I have MS, I'm going to fall into a tailspin, and you can't, I almost feel like I can't assert myself with him, because if I upset him, it comes back to him having MS. And
I don't use that.
Yeah. And I feel bad because I feel bad that he has MS, and I don't want to be any sort of negative source for him. And I also want to be able to have a regular marriage and say, like, yeah, a lot of people, I mean, Stephen Hawking had successful relationships. He couldn't walk or talk. I mean, he could even, I don't know if he could see, I can't remember, but, you know, so how can we, you know, get past this?
Well, let me back up, because you're going way to fix, okay? Let's tune in. This is called attunement. And when two people or three people attune to each other's emotions, the nervous system tends to settle down. It's how, if you go to YouTube and look for the still face experiment, you'll see a toddler tuning in with his mom. He will get her attention, and when she tunes in, he calms, and then she turns away and goes flat-faced, and he goes nuts. This is a toddler. This is what happens in our nervous system. And so trying to get you to tune in here, we had said, when she has to make it okay for me, I feel like I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. Did you hear that?
I did hear that. I did.
Okay.
I'm anxious to explore that, actually. Why don't we hit pause on that note?
Absolutely.
And speaking of attunement, I just have to say this out loud, because Rachel is in the corner, my stepdaughter, Manny's daughter, and it's like she's like tapping along to the song you're singing. Like everything you say, she's like you're like totally synced up with him, and it's really cute. She just majored, got her master's in clinical psychology, so
Congratulations,
very proud
kid.
and really exciting to see that
Very
too.
cool.
So a little sidebar, but guys, we'll see you for the third segment. Thanks for being here on The Good Soul. This segment of The Good Soul is brought to you by Aaron Fisnick, certified luxury home specialist with Ivester Jackson, Christie's International Real Estate. Aaron serves all levels of the greater Lake Norman area real estate market, and whether buying or selling, she is very much someone I want in my corner. Aaron prioritizes building strong client relationships based on trust and authenticity. Manny and I should know, having purchased our land through her. She could be reached at 704-728-5657, or reach out to me and I'll get you guys connected. Thank you, Aaron Fisnick, and thank you guys for tuning in and supporting The Good Soul. Oh, how we love that. Hey guys, welcome back to The Good Soul, episode 34, couples counseling / role playing. I'm going to turn this right over to you, Chris.
So we were just talking about like tuning into what Manny's response was to that, right? And again, I noticed you kind of went out and made some meaning, but I want to kind of slow that way down. So you heard him say that when I'm feeling a certain way and you jump in to fix it, it makes me feel like I'm not good enough. Or I need to do better.
Words,
Need to
He's not holding his weight.
Do better. Yeah. Not pulling his weight.
Do something
Right.
a little more, but, you know.
Okay, good. What do you, I know you're going to just, it's okay to repeat word for word. What do you hear?
Well, what just bubbled up for me right there was Manny is, despite his setbacks, is the strongest man I know. So this MS is not built for your average person. So what he endures and has overcome since even when we met, and what he's lost, you know, Rachel and I were just talking about, you know, how he has to drive. Well, it's like one of the few things in the world he can control anymore. You know, he can't get up and go work 9 to 5, and he has limitations. He can't run through Disney World with me for 9 hours. You know, he's got to sit in a scooter, and we have to, you know, there's all these things we have to deal with. So,
Right, like
and
the
I know
scooter.
I'm not answering your question. I'm
Well,
sorry.
well, tie it in. It's related. I was going to say, tie that in with his response to you wanting to make it okay for him, that I need to pull my weight better. Tie that in for me.
There's a couple things he does on the daily that I'd rather him. I'd like to see him, do that. I think would make him feel better, like idle time, how it's spent. I mean, he's not doing anything terrible, but I think.
What meaning?
I know.
What meaning, Patty, are you making from his response? So again, this interaction, and by the way, this is what couples will do after you guys have been married 6, but think about 20, 30 years of communicating. Yeah. We just will talk right past each other, and no one slows down to say, wait a minute, this is what I heard you say. Is this what you meant? Right?
That's what I do. I step back and I walk away when it gets that heated.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the breath. I go, oh, because I feel myself getting, I'm getting out of control. I don't like losing all that.
Yeah.
So that's why I time out. And then I go and I walk outside. I'm like, I need to breathe.
How are you? That's good. It's a great skill set. How are you with letting her know what's going on there?
I try to tell her, and she don't let me.
Yeah, and this is a rabbit hole, guys. We're going way away.
I don't want to go hole. We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
When he walks away from me.
And you don't get any information as far as what's going on with him when he walks away.
No.
And so it leaves you feeling and believing.
Abandoned, fearful that he's not going to come back.
Good vulnerability, yes.
Oh, yeah. Afraid he's not going to come back.
Right. And so yet we talked about the intention of that walk away is to get regulated. That way I can now come back and say, hey, here's where we were. Right? How do you do with that on the back end?
I do. I think it works better, that we do that, because then I'm calmer, and then it seems like it dissipates, and then whatever we were arguing about, it's never what we argue about, it's not.
It's always meaningless.
It's meaningless.
Always.
And that's what I'm saying. So then it is me. Oh. And I usually go,
can I just say something too?
And I'll go, okay. And I could be right. I'm not saying I'm never always right. No one ever is. I'm just saying, even if I'm right, I'll even go, okay. I just wanted to stop sometimes. You could say I don't, but I do, and I just don't want. I want to stop. I hate the fighting.
Who's right?
I just hate the fighting. I just don't. I hate
Nobody
it.
likes fighting.
I know, but that's why I walk away.
I hate it too.
And then I walk him back, and then I try to.
Can I just say one thing really quick?
Without saying stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not afraid of him not coming back based on his actions. That all I brought into into the relationship.
And it's not walking.
He's never walked away and not come back.
Right, but that's what we were talking.
I'm safe with him.
See, and that's why the dishwasher can now become a yelling and screaming match if you guys aren't finding yourselves regulated. Is because of the past history. Mm-hmm. You mentioned abandonment. I guarantee, and I know because we met yesterday and we talked about some of these details, right? That comes from a very vulnerable wound from when you grew up, right? Mm-hmm. And so you get triggered unknowingly. You feel these intense feelings when you see the back of your husband exit the door, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's frightening.
Now, what happens to you when you guys are not at your best, Manny, when you come back and she's been left kind of sucking her thumb, like trying to self-soothe because she just saw her husband walk away, which means big things to her? And she's triggered, she's not okay yet. You come back in and want to talk about the dishwasher again. How does that go?
Because I won't bring it up again. I won't let her bring it up again, but then I try to deal with it better. And it seems like she's even calmer too. I think it's working out for both. I don't know if she sees it, but I think she even gets a little more calmer when I do that. She don't like it when I'm going. I mean, she'll sometimes, follow me and be, hey,
I'll stand by the door.
And I'm like, I gotta go.
Okay.
Just give me a minute, and just.
He's had to lock me out of the car, I'm leaving.
No. You're gonna chase that down until you get resolution.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say this, but because he's so sweet and caring and loving, that I usually get what I want. When I pout enough, he.
Good. This is amazing.
It's true, Rachel, too. He's like he's really such a sweetheart on the inside that he doesn't want to see me hurting. So yeah.
And that kind of segues into we haven't even talked about your goals yet, but what you guys just did segues into something I wanted to really highlight is that couples therapy isn't always about dredging up past and digging up crap and figuring out how to get better in our worst moments.
Better right now.
It can be let's accentuate the positive. Let's talk at a different level with each other that we don't even do when we go out to dinner with each other, because we are in the mode of just doing our thing day after day.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love what you said about Manny there. Can you repeat that and just look at him in his eyes and tell him what you love about him?
That's heavy. That's heavy now. We getting heavy.
No. Because he knows.
And you know I love you too. You
Well,
know I know.
beyond.
He's going to say to me, say what
No,
I feel back.
Manny-
I know what he's going to say.
Manny-
I'm jumping the gun, but
I tell you what, are you willing
Oh,
to
my
be vulnerable enough to receive this and just let it come in?
Yeah, always.
All right.
I do.
Yeah, I mean,
I listen.
just go on my Facebook page, and I mean, every time I put up a post about him, I read it
That's
back
why
because he
it's-
doesn't go on Facebook.
That's
What
why
about
it's hard to do. You know,
right
I
now,
understand
though?
with the magic, you know, the counseling and everything, but it's hard to do something when it's not crazy. You know, what he was saying, there's nothing big with us. That's what.
Right.
But again, role play is great. I like, you know, I
Let me
understand
answer the
we do have quirks.
question.
We have quirks. I'm sorry.
Let me
And
answer
I'm
the
freezing my
question.
hands.
All right, so I'm going to give you an assignment. Mouth closed, deep breath.
Like I usually, that's what I do.
Look at your wife, whom you love dearly, and make an attempt to hear what she's getting ready to say.
I know you know all this, but you are the strongest, most amazing man that I've ever known. You are my soulmate. There's no other alternative. If anything ever happened between us, I'd become a golden girl.
Golden girl.
Because who's going to fill those shoes? I'm so in love with you, and I knew it from the day we met. And what did you say to me at La Serena? It's like we've known each other
for a long, long time.
Like, yeah, it's
Ever.
like when we met, it was like, and they
It was
say
weird.
this is a sign.
It was almost weird.
It's like we knew each other already, and we felt we were just so
There was
connected.
a spirit between the two of you.
Yeah,
And there
it's
was
just
no
so
friction at all.
natural.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, we don't have friction now, either, you know. But we have, you know,
Of
the
course
little
we do
arguments,
sometimes,
whatever.
yeah.
But again, you know, it was nothing for a long. You know, it was clouds.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, it's beautiful.
Manny, let me
She
jump
makes
in.
life
We
that
got
way, that's
about
why.
30 seconds in this segment, right? I want you to lock eyes again. Manny,
Right.
listen to the question, all right? What did you hear her say?
Her that she says she loves me, and she knows damn well that I love her just as much, if not more. And it was from the start, and it's been feels like forever.
Good job. Good job. Now, Patty, to hear that reflected back, those were your words, but the eye contact changes us, right?
Mhm. Oh,
and
yeah.
the slowing it down and not jumping into the future. So what's happening in your body right now as you receive that?
Reassurance.
You
And I
feel
do
reassured.
believe that about my husband. And I don't want to sound like overtly confident, but I very much, if there's one thing I know for sure about my life, is that this love was meant to be.
Amazing.
Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to hit pause,
Give me
guys.
chills.
We just wrapped
Give me chills,
up
baby.
segment 3. We're heading on into segment 4. So don't go away. We'll be back. This segment of The Good Soul is brought to you by Aaron Fisnick, certified luxury home specialist with Ivester Jackson, Christie's International Real Estate. Erin's not only an amazing agent, but she's also an amazing friend to me with a diverse mix of happy Lake Norman clients, each with their very own unique circumstance and challenge. She's a one-of-a-kind boss lady who I endorse wholeheartedly. Erin can be reached at 704-728-5657 or reach out to me and I'll get you guys connected. Thank you, Aaron Fisnick, for adding your magic to all of your real estate transactions, and thank you guys for tuning into and supporting the show. We are eternally grateful. Mwah. Big kisses. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Good Soul. We are on episode 34, Couples Counseling. I'm so sad because I really think we need about 18 segments.
It was by fast.
Yeah, it went by really fast. But so we left off, we had talked about, I really do want to talk about my goals.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's do that.
Yeah.
Patty, what would your goals be if you guys were entering into therapy right now?
So my goals would be, and they changed. They would have been different before yesterday. I didn't realize how controlling I was until yesterday. And I don't know if you noticed, I really had that aha moment where I was like, wow.
Oh, I saw you, yeah.
Well, and you know, in my relationship with you at the yoga studio, that I'm pretty controlling. You can't not be controlling when you run a business,
Mhm.
right? You have to be, I was, built for that, or the place would be a circus. But also, if I had to turn the spotlight. I feel as though he does get triggered by me very easily, and then I do get very sensitive.
Okay.
So my goals would be to really work on
That cycle.
the conflict, how we maneuver our way through a conflict, whether it's the way he's driving or the fact that he has to redo the dishwasher every time I set it up,
Right.
or something big could happen.
It's interesting because you had Patty has her notes, right, and she had written down where we put the hat, which we talked about last night.
Yeah.
Manny wants to put the hat one place, and it
hat.
drives Patty crazy.
Yeah.
The dishwasher, the air conditioner control,
In the car,
And-
yes. Why is he in charge?
and I really thought you wanted to help resolve those problems, and I was going to say that's kind of boring to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's more interesting to me is why do those things become a cycle, right? And you said it. He gets triggered, which triggers you, and you both kind of launch into this sensitive cycle. We find that the dishwasher or the hat or the irritation is I do believe there's a combination of frustration and can be girded with lack of commitment. Because if I've got even 1% looking at another woman or thinking about what it would be like, my tolerance for those things is way low.
Oh,
Right?
Okay.
Way low.
Yeah.
But if I'm fully committed to this person who does genuinely irritate me, then there's more tolerance for it. So that's a piece that is a thing in a lot of couples, especially in America, when it's so easy and common to divorce and your
Yeah.
mind might go that
and
direction.
cheat right,
Right.
from your phone. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yep.
Ugh.
Everything's at your fingertips nowadays.
Yeah. But if we go ahead.
Do you ever feel like sometimes I feel like his baby girl, and then other times I feel like his queen, and other times I feel like a flippin' thorn in his side, and everything. How does that happen? Like, is it just the way that
I think
stars
that's mood
align?
swing. Ain't that mood swings?
Yeah,
Swings, whatever,
Moose wings.
mood swings.
Oh, I was like, I don't know what is going on. Mood swings, yeah. So obviously, you've got two people that are going to be, and by the way, I don't love the word triggered. I've already said it a couple times.
Yeah, but
It
it's
is such
a powerful word.
it's a powerful word and it has meaning, but it's so overused. When I say,
Trigger me.
when I say triggered in these contexts, it means when I get dysregulated and it's a meaningful thing in a meaningful relationship. And my reaction is disproportionate to what it otherwise would be, right? So that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about when I say this weird word triggered.
Pop psychology.
I think what was your question? Because my brain is...
I think just like why
Something
why
triggered
is
him.
it why is it sometimes why is it sometimes like I feel like this like adorable, sweet, beautiful his baby girl, and then other times I feel like he's very proud of me, and then other times I feel like I'm
right.
annoying him, and there's all these different things, and I go through these cycles, and because the way he feels about me and views me loans so much of itself to the way I view myself, and call me dysfunctional codependent, but
right.
it's so the way I feel.
I got to tell you, like the question is so loaded,
Yeah.
and the answer is extremely broad and deep. Like
Yeah.
it's so contextual. Everybody's got different hormones. My wife's probably going to watch this. She absolutely knows that I have a monthly cycle as well as her, and I don't know if it's on a calendar.
Yeah.
And I've
So
got-
you admit, all right, maybe I do then.
absolutely.
Oh my God, Madison! When Maddie starts acting like
And you said
bratty,
at first I don't feel as bad.
no, we call him Madison, and when he's being really girly, we call him Mandy.
You got an alter ego, yes.
Oh God, yeah. I wish
Yeah.
Jesse were here too.
I was just breaking down because you broke down a little bit. So, all right, maybe, all right, maybe.
Yeah. So we are biological conglomerates, right? And we all walk around with this self-awareness and all these feelings as well. So what I put in my body, how I sleep, what time of the month is it, is the moon out or not?
It's like with that,
and-
with all the surroundings, and she gets, yeah.
I take a bath every night in incense and the scents I put on, and yeah, I'm very
well-
superstitious too.
Okay.
My
yeah.
rituals and yeah.
Well, all of that
Right.
still impacts your subconscious, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you're going to argue with someone very intellectual and they're like, that stuff isn't real, it's real to you.
Heck yeah, it's
Yeah.
real. Oh God.
And then so that's all the biological stuff and just the schedule and, what'd you have for dinner last night? Maybe you got gas. But then the other things is,
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
I gotta-
do that.
We don't do that in front of each other.
We don't-
Is that terrible?
Is that bad? I don't.
I know. Is that a bad sign?
It's like, I don't do it. Yeah, I do.
Well, another thing that is really impactful to that question is what are you carrying around emotionally, right? And it can be like paying attention to what your body is telling you and what your emotions are telling you is so important to getting to a spot where you're less jagged in your ups and downs and you're more level. We're never going to get to perfect. You both have said that, right?
I have, nothing's ever 100%.
Right.
I said it.
Right.
I said it every day. Nothing's ever perfect, but we can make it 89%, right?
Yeah, right. So it's
Says, I got MS.
Don't.
Sorry.
it's a complex question, right? And I
Yeah.
think in a 45 or 50 minute podcast, I've probably given it too much attention because the
Yeah.
bottom line is that you run into things. How do we respond, and how are we compassionate with ourselves and compassionate and curious and courageous in our most intimate relationships to navigate those challenging times is the real question.
I don't mean to pop something on you,
Mhm.
but could we segue this into the wheel? I mean, is the wheel something that you want
the
to
wheel-
share?
oh,
with
I was going to use it
humanity?
earlier
What?
today,
What is
but
it?
Manny
Did
did
it?
such a good job at staying kind of grounded, and he went into
Articulate.
his
But
his
do couples
feelings.
use the wheel as a tool?
I use the wheel
He goes,
with
"I
my
use it."
couples.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
You know,
absolutely.
big guy and stuff. You're like,
Because
I use it.
it's such a big deal. Like when I asked you guys how you're feeling last night, you're doing much better today. But last night when we got together, I said, "How are you feeling about that?" The responses were good, and then they would get into Manny or Patty would get into a description about the dynamics and be all intellectual, and they never responded to a feeling like, "How are you?"
Yeah, you did break that out. You brought that out just now. Oh,
And
good
so
before.
we bring the wheel because in the center of the wheel we've got disgust, sad, happy, surprise, fear, and anger. Patty has one of these hanging on the yoga wall out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the basic responses, and for guys it's usually
Can I show this
mad
to
or
my
happy.
ever
Yeah.
so enlightened husbands?
Yeah.
Okay, what's this now?
The wheel of feelings. Men, look.
Yeah,
Right.
well, you better take a picture because there's a lot
So
of feelings
the
there.
further out we go, the deeper we go.
Just more words. We find that language is the connectivity point for knowing each other.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Read the words.
Developing your words around your body's experience is intimate.
Take a picture. I don't have to. That's
We'll
right. You got
post
one out there.
we'll put a link to.
Right, Rachel?
Yeah.
I know all the words.
Hey.
Yeah.
So that the wheel is just
Master it.
it's a tool that we use in the room to kind of get people grounded. I'll ask the question, they'll say, "Oh, I'm fine," and then they'll tell their story, and I'm like, "No, how are you feeling?" And I hand them the wheel and say, "Start in the middle. Are you happy? Are you sad? Okay, well, I'm sad. Well, okay, are you abandoned? Do you feel guilty? Does the
Now
word?"
you explain that better. Now you
And
see.
now-
Now I see what it's doing.
And
okay,
let's circle
from
back
the
to the
inside out.
beginning
Mm-hmm.
where if we're present and we're aware of exactly what we're trying to accomplish in this moment and we're looking at each other in the eyes and we're
Yes.
truly hearing one another,
Yes.
this is where the change is
You
really going to
got
take
it.
place.
You
So a
got it.
Facebook post is nice, a birthday card is nice, but being present.
Yeah, and then if you want a therapist to help you
Said that a
get
few times about being present too. Yeah.
right, but so if you want some help getting to the things that are underneath the dishwasher and the hat avatars,
Mm-hmm.
you bring that skill set and the skill set of a therapist in the room, and then we're going to get into all the history of
Start pulling the thorns out.
pull the thorns out, like create some safety with the eye to eye and the vulnerable language, right?
Mhm.
That's where you feel safe and secure. You said secure, right?
Absolutely.
In that environment, now we can go and we can start talking about those things that we don't want to in front of the camera,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Chris, we have just
behind the
we have
door.
just under 2 minutes. I want to cover any type of troubleshooting aside from a Google search and find your nearest Chris McClure to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Any sort of quick troubleshooting methods that couples can use in the heat of the moment
Oh,
to
gosh.
diffuse the situation.
That's a good question.
Get a
Walk away like Manny?
so
It's not that I walk away. She feeds. She'll do her thing.
Okay.
She'll do her thing,
Let-
and then I walk away. You know.
So creating language around what's going on. I'm feeling dysregulated, right? I know no one's going to say dysregulated, but identify your feelings. And in that example, let your spouse know that you need a break. So the use of a timeout is infinitely useful.
Okay, Chris, now for all the ladies out there, you see this? Right? You know, men are professional eye rollers.
The eye roll.
So when I say, let's talk about my feelings, I'm going to guess that 9 out of 10 men are going to roll their eyes. Right? I mean, you're heavily enlightened in my eyes. So.
Well, maybe
I know
go
that
grab
was
a
a challenge.
therapist.
I'm sorry to challenge you.
We've got 20 seconds left on it.
I think that was funny, though. I'm sorry.
No,
No
it's-
offense
it's-
to any man.
It's true too. It's true. I'm.
Like,
I
again.
roll.
Yeah.
You're absolutely catching
So
it.
we have about a minute.
I'm sorry.
So let's just find out where we can find you and what exactly
Please.
you specialize in other than couples therapy. Tell us about your business. And
Yeah,
your
so
practice.
I've got a private practice here in Mooresville. It's very, very close to the studio. I could walk to yoga in between sessions.
Love it.
it's-
What's it called?
The practice is called the Get Well Institute, and it's got a little. It looks like a well.
cute.
It's supposed to look like the well as you drive by quickly, right? Now we don't have any signage.
Okay.
Someday. So I've got three offices. I have 3 therapists working for me. My specialties obviously include marriage and family therapy. I work really well with addiction. We all do really, really good anxiety work. I've got another addictions therapist. I've got a seasoned gentleman who works unbelievably with trauma. And then I've got a younger woman who does sports performance and anxiety.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Ooh,
And
and
she's-
anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sounds like my average.
So
Boom.
all 4 of us will work with anxiety and depression.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will tell you that
ncgetwellcounseling.com is the website.
ncgetwellcounseling.com. We're going to put a link in the description. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
bud.
you. We
Flies
are
by.
going. We are going
It
to come
flies by,
to
and
you.
yet- but
Also, thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Because I know this was not easy for you.
Good
My,
job.
my belly actually feels a little better now.
Yeah,
This
good
boy
job.
needs a drink. And thank you all for tuning in. You can catch us on 105.9 WSIC on Tuesdays from 4 to 5. And of course, on all your favorite platforms. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep coming back. And we'll keep dishing up the good stuff to y'all. So thanks for being here. We love you on The Good Soul.
Thank you. Bye-bye.